I've gotten my eyes on gas cans. They've been able to scrounge up. They've been in some bad positions, but they've managed to make sure to rack up kills whenever they can, because you've been talking about toffees. Being able to walk away with as many kills as possible has led to the tiebreaker repeatedly.
True.
Whenever we look at the last week of the last PCS, not necessarily the case, because that was more of a chicken dinner race. But most of the time, whenever looking at the most chicken rule, kills become a huge factor for placement in the later stages of the event.
Especially if you see sort of what we saw in the last stage, a team like 300 racking up chicken dinners. If we see TSM and Soniqs continue this lambasting, this basting, if you will, that means kills are even more important when we get to the bottom of this leaderboard, because a lot of those chickens are going to get sucked up at the top.
I don't know if you baste chickens or not. I'm not that much of a cook, but I know you are.
You
baste turkeys, but still, it's a damn good joke, and I give it to you. Okay?
I do what I can.
No mix up for cars right now, looks like, so a little bit calm.
Oh, is it another carfuffle with the ATC? No, they got away scot-clean on that one. Oh, well. Let's see
I love you, giving Zarky some love. Thank you.
Yes, you know what? What does what they have to? Wow.
Instead, they only have to mess with one team. Unfortunately, that one team is the Soniqs that is shooting at them every single time they go for air. Almost all the other teams are rotating to the south. It does look like BSO was trying to make it inside of the safe zone. That's what you get, BSO. You finally stepped out of the blue, and Space Station Gaming was waiting for them in a similar trap. And
the sacrifice to the water gods.
Yeah.
Purdy
sacrifices. The idea was good, though.
It was. Soniqs did it, though. They didn't even have to drive down the coast. They're just like, let's just get the scopes out. They're going to have, we know where they're going. And they end TSM. So Soniqs going to be happy that they were the ones to do the deed, as they can now waltz into a circle that is completely uncontested near them. Not uncontested, though, are the gas cans, as they go head-to-head with Train to Go. And Train to Go drops the ball when it comes to these guys.
I mean, given how dangerous a position this was to play, trying to make it around and through, they're doing their best, but yeah, this is getting hazardous the longer it goes on. Minox doesn't have a lot of options to really work with. More grenades coming in from the other side, has to be careful, taking a ton of damage. Adam creeping forward, realizing the opportunity is theirs, and there we go. Another grenade's going to go ahead and do a ton of work into what's happening. It's just going to be Retaliative that's going to be alive, I guess, off to the side. I think he might have snuck in here.
Soniqs always watching, waiting, holding a good spot right now. They've been playing very aggressive, and they still managed to keep 4 up. Orion trying to find their way into a safe spot, but ultimately Haydonix is Haydonix's worst enemy. He should be resable, no issue, as he crawls into the safe zone.
That's heartbreaking. That little smidgen of damage you take whenever you crash into something was enough to get the knock onto him. Roth's going to try to capitalize off of that a little bit more and get the spray in. We do still have the fight going on between Nightly Esports and Gas Cans, as well as Greg Shots finding himself in a very difficult position. Does manage to get down onto one, but you can see not a lot of options in how he's moving through this right now. Multiple members of Nightly Esports are down, but it's going to be on sneak attack and trying to figure out how he's handling what's going on. Greg Shot with a good read on how to maybe get some more out of this. Throwing down some smokes, sneaking around, but it's going to be off to the side. Keep in mind, one of the members for Nightly Esports is up, and I think has vision on Greg Shot. Well, not up, is crawling right now in a down position. So Greg Shot, counter moving around this, trying to see if maybe he can sneak in, but it's going to be a little bit too late onto it. Trying to listen up. Throwables are now starting to come out. Looks like they have a read on how he's trying to play it. So let's see if maybe he can navigate, sneak through these different points. He doesn't have much to work with, but another Molotov right now could be huge. He's kind of counterflanked around different points and has to juke around between this. Gets vision onto it, but it's gonna be a little bit too late. Molotov at least gonna make it a little bit more annoying to get to him.
The counter molly was just too strong. Nightly Esports does manage to keep moving forward. Retaliative, though, does get sneak attack. Sneak attack breathes a sigh of relief. Oh, good. We got Greg Shot. Pop! Headshot. Down he goes. That said, is Retaliative still holding on for dear life. He's been alone for a while now and fighting teams like the Soniqs nonstop and has managed to somehow survive.
I mean, you got to give it to the dude. He knows the fact that he's got to pick up as much as he can here. And this isn't just a solo rat situation. This guy tossing out grenades, taking shots at people that are encroaching around him. He knows the fact that his goal right now is to get as many kills as possible. Grenade's going to go a little bit too far, but look at the suppression that he's providing right on top of Nightly Esports. That's more tick damage that they're taking from the blue. That's not very much information that they're managing to gather at the time. And this is a one guy that is just constantly harassing them. And Soniqs, now with information on what's going on, is just going to take shots into it, and then it's Soup on the other side being patient that's going to go ahead and take him down. So no cap actually out surviving them. I like this from Space Station Gaming, realizing that there's not a lot of threats right now. One member for ATC is down, so trying to get a res at the time means the fact that this side push is going to be open. Dodge still leaning into this high ground advantage, and again, look at the vision on everything that's been going on. Sure, they don't have a lot of kills, but they have stalled so much movement. Vegas off to the side, absolutely rips apart Orion, and that was almost a problem. That's fine though. They should still be able to get out and get the flushes onto it. Two very weakened Orion members on the outside of this. As you can see, everybody from Dodge wanting to try to go ahead and finish this one off, but a little bit hesitant to step out into the open. They don't want to bite off more than they can chew. And it's going to be Hello Senpai getting a little bit more harassment. Molotov's coming in, and I believe there is just one up on the other side of this for Orion. Make that, two, then back down to 0.
Orion goes down. Dodge with a nice play. The Soniqs have taken that little warehouse or whatever the hell that place is, and they're going to go ahead and lock it up. They go into where Retaliative was basically running this by himself for a while there as they managed to get their hands on it. ATC does still have the mountaintop, though they're slowly but surely losing ground. Marsalek does manage to hold off SSG, who was interested in coming up here, but look at this. ATC has tons of feature. There's lots of land for them to hide in, a lot of space to work, and honestly, just kills to be gathering. Well, they've only got one so far, but more are coming. Nade comes up and over. Finna trying to get that nade on Soup, but Soup is low. The fire finally burns out. Soup can't go too far backwards because that circle is closing. He's got to try to push forward. He's hoping to catch Finna on the transition to the radar, but I don't think that it's going to work. Soup decides to slide back around the left side. Dodge still locked inside of the barracks. Got to figure out how to get out of this one. They don't have the smokes. Meanwhile, Roth does go down to Marsalek from ATC as, again, Dodge just doesn't seem... They got 5 smokes right here. Now's the time to pop them out there and just make a wall.
This is a huge problem for everybody that's invested in this right now. Vegas is trying to get some work into ETR. Finna tries to go, but there's a quick exchange. Jumbi goes down. Now the question comes into play, what can Icy Flex do? With Eternity trying to get the res, Icy Flex is going to have to make a play, and he could step out and spot them and do a ton of work into ETR right now. Icy Flex got the smokes that he was going to try to work through, but if he opts into playing back into him, Soup's just trying to run in and try to get a little bit more loot, and that's going to reveal to Icy Flex exactly where he is. Steel goes down, gets shots from Icy Flex. I don't know if Icy Flex realizes how close Soup was. He goes down. Soup's now taking a ton of blue damage, going to try to make it in his zone, but just narrowly does it 1 HP, and ATC is going to rein in the damage to follow it up. ATC has a ton of vision on movement. Soniqs do have a little bit of cover that they're playing from right now, but ETR still has to make their way forward, and there is not a lot of cover for them to play around.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is Soniqs has a wall they can work with inside the circle, so that's something. ATC, because of that ditch, they have to do some far more exposed peaks, and they're shooting through the chain link. It's going to be hard to get some of those headshots. So ATC does have a tall order against them, and if the circle continues to go southern or just to the middle, they've got to cross the road, and that is going to be very difficult to do. Eternity is eliminated. Now it is down to a 4v4, Soniqs versus ATC, a repeat of the last match.
But with that firefight that was going on, Shrimsy creeps forward. And look at the authority that Soniqs is trying to take control over this position. Marsalek realizes the opportunity that could be happening. Rest of ATC trying to get around and deny vision onto it. Grenade coming through. It's going to go on the other side of the divider, so going to be enough cover to keep them alive. This is a straight-up 4v4. While I say that, Mime does go down to a grenade, making it into a 4v3, and he's kind of separated out, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes down. Soniqs trying to keep control over this position right now, but it's going to be ATC. Look at this, just playing across the top of it, but Shrimsy's creeping forward off of this and might be able to find a sneaky angle. He does reveal himself, but has to be cautious. He is surrounded at the time, and I don't know if he realizes he's vulnerable. From the other side of it, does get spotted out. Marsalek starting to play this beautifully, goes for the flushes. Soniqs was trying to get control over this area, but it's going to be H1 going to the high ground up on top of it to try to see if maybe he can get a play. He does connect with the grenade on this. So now 2 members for Soniqs still alive and trying to navigate everything that they can to get the high ground into it, because this could be huge for them.
They're going up to the top. H-Win, the dirty boy, decides to take the high ground. ATC tried to play 2 sides, and it worked for a little while, but they got Win up. That's what Soniqs was committing their resources to, was taking the high ground. So now let's see which one pans out. Win and Taggleton versus the 2 remaining members of ATC. Looks like Marsalek, and I can't see who the other one is right now, but they are putting up a high ground, low ground effort to try and hold this one off. That Groza was impactful, and Grozas win games, but maybe not here, Matt.
Hold on. This is absolutely huge. Northeast positioning is the center. So with this, Tickleton has to aggress forward. The top of the billboard is not going to be enough to provide a med battle positioning for this. So it's going to be on the Tick. Does get some vision onto it, but taking some blue damage, trying to creep forward. He goes down, and the 1v1 coming through. H1's trying to navigate up in this top area, but it is so hazardous. Looking back through, gets some damage and manages to get it. H1 clutches it up when it matters from a crazy position to get Soniqs to win.
Respect my mind, no die from last y'all. I pray my dick get big as the Apple Tower, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. Goddamn, I feel amazing. Damn, I'm in the matrix. My mind is living on cloud